What is up, everybody, and welcome to another video. In today's video, it is freaking raining out here, dude. It is a huge rainstorm. This is insane, but hey, you know, that's just how it goes sometimes. So, in the last video, I talked about the Moab X Meridian, which is the new knife from Glider Co. This thing is utterly incredible, and today I am unboxing a different Balisong in a very interesting setup. Wow, the rain is like coming onto the porch now. That's not great for me. This is from TOA Balisong, as you can see, TOA Balisong, and this is the Chiron. Very exciting. The box is absolutely insane. I mean, it comes in a coffin. That's cool. This Balisong is really unique, though, so let's crack this thing open. So, some cool stuff. The Chiron card, you can see, it says the name of the Balisong. That's a lot of thunder. Uh-oh. So very cool there. And then look at that, holy cow. It comes with a challenge coin, basically, that says like the name of the Balisong on there. And then it has this insanely cool design that's really sick. I like extras like that. All right, and then we have this really nice bag. Very cool. It's got like a denim style material. And then there is the Balisong underneath all of that stuff. And I love that it's just sleeping in a coffin. That's pretty cool. But this is a very unique Balisong, as I'm sure you can immediately tell. So, this is the TOA Balisong Chiron. The Chiron is entirely made of aluminum, kind of like the swordfish, I guess, but it's a very, very different Balisong than the swordfish. The Chiron is a chunky, not heavy, but like definitely heavy seeming. I mean, look at how thick this blade is. That is a thick blade. That is insane. That's probably double the thickness of most Balisong trainer blades. Let's take a quick look here. Yeah, holy cow. That is literally at least minimum. Here. Wow, that is at least minimum double the thickness of the Moab blade. That is crazy thick. And that's because it's entirely made out of aluminum. This thing is entirely aluminum. It's very similar to the swordfish in construction, except that it has actually full channel handles and not faux channel handles. And overall, I have found that it's a pretty good flipper. I've had this one since Blade Show. They gave it to me at Blade Show, and so I played with it a little bit there, and then I took it home and played with it a little bit afterwards, but I never actually unboxed it or talked about it on camera, and so here we are. This thing, it's got a lot of texture. There's a lot of different textures going on, and it flips, honestly, pretty well. It's got, in terms of experience, it kind of, weirdly enough, reminds me of stuff like the Delta 50 from Machine Wise. You remember that thing? The Delta 50, all of those, like the really old, really chunky Machine Wise stuff. This has that vibe because these are giant, big, chunky handles with a lot of texture and stuff. It also has a pretty nice ring to it, funnily enough. I don't know. I think it's the handles that are ringing, not the actual blade, because I don't know what on the blade would be ringing. But yeah, it's got a pretty good sound to it. Overall, it performs a lot better than I was expecting. I honestly didn't have high hopes for this thing. When I first looked at it, I was like, I don't know, it doesn't... I like the design, but I think it could use a little bit of color. Also, it came pretty well tuned, but it has lost that tune over time, and I definitely could fix that by tightening it, but I just didn't bring my kit out here. So it does hold a tune well, but it doesn't stay that way without Loctite or anything, so you definitely would want to use Loctite on this thing if you end up tuning it, though I will admit, honestly, something like this would make for a fantastic beater, because I think it is relatively cheap, being entirely made of aluminum, and it would take a beating pretty solidly. Not incredibly well, because aluminum obviously is still much softer than titanium, but it'll still take a good beating and look good while doing it. Now, I don't know if they're going to do other colors. I hope they do, because like that's kind of the whole point with aluminum, is that you can anodize it any color you want, and so you can make all sorts of cool stuff with this. But for now, I only have this silver variant, and I think that it's cool, but it's certainly not my favorite Balisong ever at the same time. It flips, honestly, extremely well. It's very solid, even though it is massive. It is a big, chunky Balisong, so I wouldn't say that it flips standard. Like, it's not it's not like exactly a super standard flipping experience. It is unique, certainly. But if that's what you're looking for, if you like a bigger Balisong that's maybe a little bit slower and more nimble, because that's one thing I will say is because of the density of the aluminum, you would think that it would be like really light and fast, but actually it's a little more slow and methodical. So it's kind of good for like more intricate, slower tricks that require a little more momentum transfer and stuff like that. And I think that has to do some with like the thickness of the blade and how much of the blade was added to like give weight to the tip. As you can see, they milled out a lot of stuff in the mid blade, but then left a ton of material on the tip. And I think that, you know, is part of why it has such a good balance, even though it's such a weird knife with a weird sizing and everything. But yeah, even though it is a strange size and very non-standard, it is still quite a good flipper. And so definitely, I think the right thing for some people out there. I don't know if this is something that I would like generally carry all the time, but I have a feeling this is the kind of thing that somebody could get a lot of EDC use out of if the style sort of resonated with them. So yeah, very cool to see from TOA Balisong. I hope that they keep kind of moving along and making these really cool designs, because this is very unique and a very, very cool sort of take on what a Balisong can be. Ooh. So yeah. So thank you, TOA, for giving me this at Blade. I really appreciate it. It was very, very cool meeting you, and I hope that you continue to make some really incredible Balisongs into the future. And yeah, I'm going to keep playing with these Balisongs until I have more of an opinion on them, and maybe you'll see another follow-up video. Maybe I'll make a full video on the Moab. We'll definitely see how those things go, but oops. All right. Anyways, that's pretty much it for today's video. Thank y'all for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I guess I'll see y'all again in the future. Peace.